What's up, everybody? It's been a long time since we've last seen you, since we've last graced you and blessed you with our presence, since we could all be together. Phil, what's happening?
Man, not much. I'm glad to be back. It's been a minute. I mean, see what I've been doing on the side. You know what I always do. I'm still on my matter what, even if the show's not rolling. Robinson, how you been?
Man, up, down, all around. Late. I made it through the latest heat wave out here in California. It was hot to the mug. But I've been tired. I've been bored. I've been at home. I've been a good family man. I've been doing all of that proper stuff you're supposed to do. But I'm ready for some football. And we are now away. Less than 2 weeks until rookies report. Or 2 weeks exactly, almost.
Yeah. God, it's we got a lot of stuff to dig into. I mean, you know, you got some folks that are on the whole Josh Jacobs. What the hell's about to happen with him next? Then you got folks just running around saying Jimmy G ain't fully the answer. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinions. And then you also have the Fire McDaniels. I mean, shit, it's a lot.
And you know we only gonna talk about. It definitely tends to happen when the people have gone without actual football news for far too long. And I'll be honest, I was one of those people who weren't on the Jimmy bandwagon when I first heard the news. And I'm not going to say that I'm fully on it either until he steps on the field and stays there. But I went back and I did some digging, and I feel a little bit more confident in the situation than I did. And we'll get into it here shortly. But since you wanted to kick off with Josh Jacobs and where the Raiders are at this point, let's head there.
Look, Raiders still got.
What's that?
Look, they still got time. They still got time to go on and do his little signature. Go on to either have the tag on them or go on into have him going in the cap as one of the highest paid running backs. Now, a lot of folks are wondering, and I mean, everybody's going to do it. They're like, are we going to be paying him like 17 mil, 16 and a half mil? I mean, the way the cap is, and I mean, well, really, the way the numbers are so far for most running backs, I'm going to just say this. As long as Josh Jacobs is making more than Saquon Barkley, should be good. Because the Giants going and over. I'm sorry, but if the Giants going and overpaid Saquon Barkley, that has barely been healthy, and I think this was like one of his healthiest seasons he's ever had since he came into the league. I'm just going to be real here. That's going to be asinine.
And it's going to come down to one of those, really what I see it being is kind of the Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald situation. You got one guy who's got the accolades, one guy who's coming off of being the NFL rushing leader and the NFL yards from scrimmage leader. And then you got another guy who's enjoying a healthy season and finally being able to stay and be a contributor and be the guy that he was supposed to be, instead of the consistently being the best player on the offense. And so the way that I see that situation shaping out is you're not going to see Josh Jacobs sign a deal until Saquon Barkley does. It's just not in his best interest. He had a better season, and whatever it is that they finally agree to pay him, Saquon Barkley, he expects to get more.
Look, all I can really say is he needs to just go in and sign his tag, come on into camp, get accustomed to how things are running. I mean, we know how things are running, but get accustomed to you being with your new quarterback, see how things, timing and flow are, and it's just that simple. I mean, I get you don't want to go into camp and then you're like, I done screwed myself because if I just waited, this happened. But then again, if you just come in, and I get where he's coming from, he's probably at the point where it's like, well, I didn't play on my 5th-year option last year, and I did all of this, and then now you still got me in a limbo situation, which he does have every right to be upset about, frustrated about. Shit, I would be too. If I'm coming to work, I done played all 17 games that you asked me to do. I led the league in rushing
and yards from scrimmage.
Exactly. I actually won a game for y'all. I ran 80 fucking yards for you guys. So again, I feel like I'm at a point where, hey, you guys, I did what was asked, what you guys wanted me to do. Can we at least get this done for me?
And it's not. I mean, just
Kevin,
that.
And this was the second season with all 17 games. So I mean, there's that. But if we want to get technical, we can say, well, this man played an impact and helping at playoffs that following year. A major factor in all those games.
The reality of what Kevin is saying is this, is that running back is a devalued position where franchises, teams, coaches, they just don't value it as much as they used to past first initial contract. And history has shown that after running all the tread off the tires of running backs, that you might as well get rid of them because they're not going to be able to produce at the level that you're going to pay them to do so. You'll get maybe a handful of guys. You'll get your Derrick Henrys, your Christian McCaffreys, your Dalvin Cooks, your Josh Jacobs, but who produce, and then maybe they're still good on the second contract. And I know I said Josh Jacobs ahead of schedule, but damn it, I hope he resigns and he continues to play at the level that he's been playing. But more likely than not, you'll see your Ezekiel Elliott's. Now, for all of the wonder back that he was, he's sitting at home without a job right now.
That's true.
And I would be, and the way that he's sitting at home without a job would lead me to believe that whoever it is that ultimately signs him, he's gonna be in a complimentary role. He's not going to be the guy unless the guy in front of him gets hurt.
Possibly.
So what's a realistic number for Josh? It depends on who you ask. If you ask the front office, they'll probably tell you it's somewhere around 12. So if you ask Josh, he'll tell you it's somewhere around 17, 16, and 17. And it's the nature of the beast. There's only a few guys that get hit every play. Linemen and running backs. Whether he got the ball or not, he's blocking, somebody's hitting him. Very rarely do you ever see a running back go a play without being touched. Said, yes, you'll have to hit. Not he will have to hit free agency to get as realistic. Yeah, he will. Are you able to pull the tag? Did they miss the window for that, or is that still on? I think if they get a long-term deal done,
they could pull the tag. I mean, like, what do you mean in saying like pulling the tag? You mean like once they do a contract, or adding on to what's on the current tag, and then have his money go into effect.
Yeah, because I think he'd have to sign the deal. He'd sign the deal, whatever it is. It's going to be an extension, so he'd be looking at a large amount of money up front, and that's when they would pull the tag. Now, to have gone this far through the offseason process and not pulled the tag off, they're not going to. It's not in their best interest to do so unless they have a deal in place. So yeah, the heart and soul of the team, and Kevin is chiming in. You can pull the tag. He becomes a free agent, and he walks away. You get nothing. So that goes back, but it goes back to what I said about that not being in their best interest to do so. It's one of those very. Josh Norman had his tag pulled by the Panthers. I'd have pulled his tag too. He wasn't worth that money that they were getting ready. He was trying to ask for. Certainly wasn't the best corner in the league when they let him go, which is why pulling the tag from Josh Jacobs after the season that he had would be ludicrous. Insanity. It's a bad look, man. Close your mouth.
Wow. Whoo!
Care to share?
Nah, it's just something that happened over my way.
I see.
Anywho, look. But yeah, Kevin's right on that one. Whew. Wow. That was crazy. But I mean, so far, we haven't heard anybody say that Jacobs is. I mean, we haven't heard that Jacobs in this camp or any of the holdout. His people haven't said it. It's just only a one person has speculated that it could come to a holdout. So again,
that wouldn't happen to be the guy that wrote that article, would it?
Say that again.
I said that wouldn't be the only person who speculated that would happen. Wouldn't happen to be the guy that wrote that article, would it?
The other person I heard said that was what, Tom Pelissero. But again,
yeah, it's not in Josh's best interest to go to the Le'Veon Bell route, because you have to remember the other thing about that was Bell had already been franchise tagged twice, so he had already made what 20-30 million by that point.
Yeah.
So Josh ain't made it like that yet. So this is supposed to be his one and only opportunity to take what the remaining prime years that he has left and get paid and stack his loot, which is why he's doing it for the guys coming up, is what I believed it.
Look, overall, we just gonna have to play the little waiting game for right now. Again, his people haven't said anything about. He hasn't ran his mouth saying anything about holdout. The Raiders haven't said anything about holdout. Ziegler hasn't. So again, it's just somebody trying to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Is it an option that's available to him? Yes, it is an option that's available to him. It has.
But is it a smart one? Because remember, you get fined when you hold out. So you would be losing. You would be losing money, especially during training camp.
Technically, no, because he's not under contract right now. That's the only reason why he would not be losing money.
You sure about that?
Yes, because they didn't pick. This would be his fifth-year option that they declined last year. The franchise tag is what he was supposed to play on in order to get
his. He's under the tag. So if he's under the tag.
But if he does, he has not signed his tender yet, so technically not.
Okay, that's right.
Can't find someone not under contract. But so that what that means is that Josh Jacobs is sitting at home not making any money. And as Kevin alluded to, the Raiders would still own his rights, and he can't go anyplace else. So that's not a financially good decision for him. Now, is he going to use the maximum amount of his leverage to get whatever it is that he can get? Absolutely. Will he ultimately play under the tag? Honestly, if I was him at this point, I'd give strong consideration if they don't meet my demands. There's only so much. There's only so many times that you can be told that you're Mr. Everything. You're the shining star in the locker room, the captain we all look up to, the player I love coaching, the guy that sets the bar for everybody else, the winner, the bell cow, the horse, the best player on offense, the guy the whole team, the heartbeat of the offense beats around. But that's the guy that's not getting paid. So regardless, it is what it is. You know, there's some uncertainty in some positions in the quarterback position, which we'll address in a little bit. A question was asked about Marcus Peters, and so I like the idea of Marcus Peters. I realize that he may not quite be the player that he was. I would prefer to see him in zone coverage as opposed to man. Double moves scare the heck out of me when it comes to his coverage. But I also think that the Raiders have quite a bit at corner that they need to get on the field and get some playing time and experience so that they can continue to grow and develop. Jacorian Bennett is going to be, I feel, is going to be a real good talent for them. I liked Brandon Faison when he was here the last time. Hall is giving you something to look forward to. Robertson, God bless him, said, you know, when he's on, he's on. You still got, I hope to God they put Hobbs back in the slot. And then you got the guys that you brought, Shelley and Long, that you brought in. So when you talk about bringing in Peters, it becomes a money issue. And it's not just about money with Peters, because Peters is from Oakland and is a Raider fan. Even when he was playing with the Chiefs, he was still a Raider fan. And if he ultimately want to come and put on the silver and black, that'll be his choice. But if he does, I could almost guarantee it won't be for top dollar. I could all but guarantee that it won't be for top dollar. Where we at sitting at the cap? Just under 4 million, or around 3.5, which would still be under 4.
4.
Yeah. So the likelihood of him coming in here and getting all of that would be very low. So that man's name is Amit. You gonna put some respect on his name. All right. The way he beasted up Jerry Jeudy like that, you can say his name Amit. All right, I say it for you.
Tic tac, baby.
Doing it big. But so that with that, let's get to the Block Picasso in the defense.
Ooh.
Rumor has it that the young guys are making some headway and turning some heads. Almost all of them. Now the question remains to be seen: is this going to be a situation with this incoming rookie class where they snatched the positions of last year's rookie class? Now they've had a full year to make their gains, develop, and I'm interested to see where Neil Farrell is going to be. But they brought in Byron Young, who, from all accounts, have said has started to turn heads. So you mentioned that Young was an absolute monster out there at the Senior Bowl.
That he was. I'm sorry. I'm looking over this salary cap. I'm just. Damn you, John Gruden. But no, yeah, looking what Byron Young did at the Senior Bowl was fantastic. What he was able to do inside the trenches, lined up against some of the top guards and centers that were taken in the earlier rounds before him. And again, a lot of folks are still wondering, why did he even slip? Shouldn't have. But I definitely do expect to see him starting on that. I definitely expect to see him starting in this defense early. Not like some guy coming in later in the season or in the middle of the season, but he's going to be in that starting lineup.
I like what he has to offer, and Kevin's been going wild in the comments section here, but he's right. You got to prove it in training camp, and that's all you can. That's all I want to see from some of these defensive linemen is for them to prove it. I need to see all of these young defensive players prove it. This defense has to get better in order for this team.
Here's the thing. Nobody's given their job. We know this with this new regime. Nobody is given their starting position. I know this boy can put the work in. I've seen the quality up front in 4K. The boy can do the shit right. So, there's that. OJ, how you doing? But basically every player that the Raiders went on and got, from Bennett, from Young to Bennett, to Smith, those three guys right there that played for him in the Senior Bowl. He had already got an up close look at him, and then when you look at Amari Burney, I think there's a few other players. I say his name. I had to pull it back up, but the Raiders had front row seats of each guy that they wanted. Yeah, I know everybody says, "Oh, they grabbed Burney in the late round." I think he can be a late round gem. Is he going to be something like shooting like right out the door? Like, oh damn, this is the guy. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is somebody that the Raiders have eyed. They were able to get their guys. I still think the Raiders can get another guy in free agency from linebacker, even at cornerback, like we just said with Marcus Peters.
Now they're gonna be able to get one or both, because with the salary cap being what you said it was, that means that somebody's gonna have to go in order for.
I got a good amount of bunch, a good bunch that could go. I got a good bunch that could go. Just still wonder why Bolden on that damn roster. Jesus Christ.
Because the backup running backs gotta be able to get an opportunity to shine. The blocking can't be the only thing that's required of the backup running backs, and an occasional pass route. You've got to get more out of your other guys than that, whether Josh wants to get off the field or not. The key to his longevity is going to be how you use him, and making sure that no matter how many times you touch him the ball, you're keeping the hits down on his body. That's going to be the way that you want, the best way to use Josh and keep him going. And is that going to happen feeding him the rock 250 plus times this year? Probably not. But you got to be able to get more than 60 to 70 yards in a season from your backup running backs. That's embarrassing.
I agree right there.
Totally agree with that one. Now, just to your point, DJ, that I mean, you could say that about every team. The defensive line is going to be the unit that will make or break this defense because it's the tip of the spear. The line, he who controls the line of scrimmage controls the game, and it's really as simple as that. I like the raw physical talent of the guys that they have are definitely something that you can use to compete. The question is, will they be able to execute what it is that what they're being asked to do? And that's when what Phil said about all the guys that Graham was able to coach at the Senior Bowl. He's already gotten a chance to tell them what it is that he's going to have them do. He's already gotten a chance to drill it into them and see how they're going to react, how they're going to respond. And
go on, keep going.
I was going to say, and you brought something else to my attention, that the majority of these guys that they've drafted are all 4 and 5 year starters, captains, and guys that have produced consistently.
You know, the other thing we talk about is all going down to the D line. He's right. And last year, when we really looked at it, the problem was the interior. Your two D tackles inside, they weren't getting it done. One got it done, and then the other he just slacked off. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't the consistent push that you should have gotten. And I think that was the only thing that Patrick Graham, that was one of the only things that Patrick Graham needed. But then everybody was dropping like flies left and right. You barely had any starters until what? Towards the end of the season? I mean, guys were dropping like flies. And then everybody was expecting to say that it was the defense's fault. I mean, shit, I get it. Everybody's saying, well, it's the next man up. But when the skill level of the next man up is not on the same skill level as the guy that they're about to face off against, I mean, shit, what do you expect? You had some guys with your third team and your fourth team, 4 stringers, that were out there in the starting lineup. Do you actually think that shit was going to, something amazing was going to happen?
You can wish. Hope on a star.
I mean, shit, if you actually believe that, and I can go back and look at a shit ton of tweets, looking at everybody saying the defense, oh shit, the defense. But then in the end, I will give the defense this shit. When they were trying to hold, it was like the offense didn't want to do the shit.
Wasn't giving their best effort.
Nope, wasn't executing.
Horrible in the red zone. The only red zone offense you had was from your running back and a couple gimmies on some digs coming in, some pick routes.
It had me cracking up. He said people blame the defense for balloon haired balls.
You just got to do one of these numbers to say, Jesus, guide me.
I mean, that's all it is with this. When you're running that multiple defense, that's all it is you run rotation. And it's the same with the offense. You got to play complementary football. I mean, that's something that the Raiders been needing to play for God knows how long. I mean, now, it was, if it ain't Devontae or Josh, there's no touchdowns, a field goal. I can't say the entirety. The entirety. I ain't giving my projected D tackle.
You gotta wait for that contest, sir. We ain't
Y'all know good and damn well. Be saying in somebody's article.
I said you don't talk. We don't give no projections till the pads come on, till they've been on, until they've had 2 weeks in the desert sun and heat.
Yep, I need, and I ain't talking about they got shoulder pads and shorts on. I need helmet, shoulder pads, and
Live
just pants on. Knee
Live
pad, hip pad, ass pad, cup. I need all that. I need you truly engaging where it's physical with you and the O line and the D line. That's how it should be. That's what I need.
In short, there'll be no projections until they actually start playing football. Real football.
Because how it's going to go out, they're going to mix it up. Everybody's going to be suspecting that, oh, this is our starting D-line. And come to find out, it ain't your starting D-line. You're going to hear all them tweets that, well, the Raiders are bringing out such and such to start this out. That's going to be their starters. They're going to bring out such and such right tackle. That's going to be your starting right tackle. That's what it's looking like. We've heard this and that. They're going to tell you every shit they want you to hear. They're going to say, bro, man, from the fifth floor, he going to be your right tackle, eating a sandwich. No. I still laugh at what Alex Leatherwood was going to start and be the right tackle. Look at the unofficial depth chart.
I knew all that I needed to see about Alex Leatherwood. Mike Mayock drafted him, and John Gruden and Mark Davis looked like they was about to fire his ass on the spot.
Nah, bro. John Gruden looked like he would get away with murder. He looked like he would have beat his ass.
Beat his ass.
John Gruden, if I can go back and find the photo, made the pick. John Gruden looked like the white boy that was in class ready to beat the other white boy's ass for calling him a hoe. Oh,
and he probably should have. He probably should have.
He looked at him. He was like,
absolute disgust. Everybody else is celebrating, and him and Mark are over here like, can you believe this fool? Can you believe this man?
Like this man, Mark had sat his ass down in that chair. Like, no, you need to let Mike do this. He's like, the fuck? I give Mike the second round. No.
Pull the card back.
You sure you got this? Hey, I got it. Are you positive? I got it.
Guru, the draft expert.
He looked at that damn card from a distance. He said, you motherfucker, don't you dare do it. Don't you do it. Oh, man. Nightmares.
What's the deal with drafting players and playing them at another position? That's how you maintain.
I wonder about that a lot of times.
That's how you maintain losing football.
I just didn't get that shit. I'm like, the only reason why Reggie did that was because they had a background or a track record of them being versatile back when they were in school. That was the only reason why Reggie McKenzie was doing this. Mayock and Gruden and them doing that shit, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? That shit was trifling. You putting guys that I'm like, hold up. Me, this man ain't never played this position in his entire life. Well, and then I got folks that want to try to tell me it's like the same on the opposite side. That's horse shit. All right. It's like literally, you play the left tackle your entire life, and now you got to go to the right side. It's like trying to ride a bike without the training wheels first time. You have to have reps. You have to get into a rhythm. Damn it, Kenneth, why you gotta bring that shit up?
And I was trying to ignore it, but you gave credence to it, so now you done got him started.
You know what?
See, you went in and you took the bait. Now you're gonna be going buck wild in the comments section. All you had to do was just keep on with your opinion. But no.
All you got, I already know how to stop Kenneth. Just send us ass a damn pulled pork.
The Chateau Rail with dry barbecue.
Send that dry ass pulled pork back to him.
But as we talk about the defensive line got a makeover this year. The secondary got a makeover. The talent that they have in the secondary is good talent, good quality talent. It's a little bit on the short side for my liking. Like almost all of them are shorter than I would like them to be, but it is what it is. The area that continues to plague me and really grind my gears is the linebackers. I know that we drafted Bernang, that we drafted a we'll be fair and call him a nickel linebacker / corner. You're bringing in Drake Thomas as a UDFA, and when you throw on his tape, he's got impressive tape. He makes the plays that he's supposed to make. He's in position, playing, doing his job. And for a mantra of do your job, that is desirable. But if you're looking for him to make a freak athletic play, he may make one a game, maybe two, but he's not going to be the guy that's just like, oh my God, did you see what he did? It's going to be within the structure of the play design. And for all of the sets that Graham runs, all of the different things that he does in the multiple look, which is what they did at North Carolina State. He'll be a contributor, but I don't see him being that guy. You got Divine Diablo, you've got Robert Spillane, Curtis Bolton, Luke Masterson. We get to see if he's managed to make some more gains in the offseason so that perhaps he can continue that transition from safety to linebacker and be the guy that they want him to be. But interestingly enough, New England always had larger linebackers. So to see them going with smaller guys is a head scratcher for me, but it is what it is. So Drake Thomas is built like Will Compton with shorter arms, and he's slow. But you know what? I just saw Will Compton stonewall a Twitter troll on a YouTube short the other day. Man, he made that average schmo look like a nobody, running at about half speed.
Man.
But that brings way and brings us to Himmy G. I'll be honest with you guys. When I first heard the news of Himmy, I was not in a good place. I was not happy.
Screaming.
But I was looking for that bottle.
He was screaming and crying in my ear on the phone, like, "What the fuck, man?
Haymakers at the air, looking like Sean Wayans, and don't be a menace."
Man, right. Look, you on a whole different level. I thought you were gonna start throwing shit at your flat screen.
Nah, I was in the garage. Although I do need a TV in here, I didn't need one that bad. But the good news is that I went back. Now, I will say that if you haven't had the ability to go back and see the absolute tweet storm that Warren Sharp has been putting out, then you owe it to yourself to go back and look at his tweets from probably the last 3-4 days.
I thought
And
I was worse. Jesus Christ,
I mean,
man. I thought I was worse.
that man beat the
That
dead.
man is a devil.
He stabbed the dead horse. Said he lit the dead horse on fire, poured gasoline on it first, then poured water on it so that he could, after it stopped burning, that
No,
he
no,
could
no, 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 no. He ain't poured
put
water on it. He pissed on it. He pissed on it.
Yeah, he pissed on it. And then threw it in that bathtub that they threw the body in from Breaking Bad before they put the base in it that ate up the entire for the bathtub and the floor.
That man was
He
evil.
absolutely told the truth about what it is that Raider Nation has been looking at. And the reality of that situation is that third and 3 and outs, third down conversions, worst in the league. Red zone percentage, inside the 10, third worst in the league for a couple years running. Last year was a horrible year in terms of what you got at quarterback play, and the fact that you were still able to get 14 touchdowns to Devontae Adams and 10 to every other wide receiver on the roster is amazing, considering Josh McDaniels was supposed to be is the third best play caller in the National Football League over the course of the last 3 years. That's 1 with Brady and 2 without. And yet somehow him and the previous tenant of the position were unable to get on the same page and stay there. But when in comparison, when you look at Jimmy's stats, inside the red zone, Jimmy is a surgeon. Jimmy's red zone percentage is roughly double what the previous tenant at quarterbacks totals were. Jimmy is a winner. Now, it was supposed to be just win, baby, and we haven't seen a whole lot of that around here, but it's just win, baby, and Jimmy just wins. Is he bringing that Niners defense? No, he's not. But you don't need him to bring the Niners defense. You have an offense that if you were able to take full advantage of your red zone opportunities and more than just your running back could score in the red zone, you were looking at an offense that was capable of putting up in the 30s to 40s consistently. Jimmy is going to get you that. Now, I'll be honest, and me and Jones talked about this, and I talked about it with everybody who gets the benefit of being able to talk to me regularly. Jimmy's game is inside the numbers. Inside the numbers, that is his maximum efficiency, maximum effectiveness. That is where he's going to make a difference. Now, you look at this receiving staff, and do they have the burners that Miami has? No, they don't. So long bombs over the top, probably not going to see a whole bunch of that. You're probably going to see a slightly younger, better-looking version of Rich Gannon, who works inside the numbers, works intermediate yards, hits his proper passing windows, knows where he's going with the football, stands in, looks downfield instead of at the rush, delivers the ball on time in a spot where only his guy can get to it. And I swear I'm not capping. I went back, I watched the highlight for all the throws that he made with the Niners for the last 2 years.
Man,
of it.
he ain't lying, bro.
Distance, I watched where he threw it. I could really get into detail, but I'm not going to because I'm not about to give up all the game before training camp.
I put it like this. I saw some things from Jimmy that I was actually surprised of. You know, I hear from a lot of Niners fans that they'll say this, and this, woo, woo, woo about Jimmy. But Jimmy was he's a smart thinker while on the move. Something that you want from your. He's not gonna fold. And I'm gonna tell you this shit. Jimmy stayed in that fucking pocket a handful of times, still got the ball off and got fucked up and got right back up and kept moving. He didn't lay there and said, Jesus, come take me. Come take me, lift me up, please. Please, Jesus. Don't make my wife cry.
Yeah, it's interesting through the course that when people leave town, they seem to have some sterling revelations about who they really were the whole time, and it is what it is. I'm not about to give that no.
And I add on to this. I know we prefer to have our quarterback to try to be able to run. He will run, but he will look to find ways to extend that play. But he'll keep his body moving and his head looking around. So he's not just staring down while trying to make enough like to extend the play. This man looking around so he don't get fucked up. Okay? Yeah. What DJ just said.
Yeah. What he's more creative.
Yes.
Out of structured plays than the previous QB. Yes, because the reality of that is that once Derek broke the pocket, usually one of three things was going to happen. He's looking to run straight towards the sideline to make sure that he gets out of bounds and hangs onto the football, because God knows if he took a hit, the ball is more likely than not hitting the ground. Looking for the deep guy. Always want to hit the home run, whether you underthrow it or not. Because even when you start running and the defense starts closing on you, that gives you a bigger window to drop one over the top. Or he was going to hit the tray or the backside tray, run probably just outside the numbers, pull up, and then either hit the trailer or the guy that's in the comeback route sitting down right before he gets lit up by about three different dudes. Jimmy is going to. The one thing that I will say that struck me most about the highlight film is that Jimmy provides his receivers with an opportunity to break one tackle or make one guy miss, and then they're free to score. And we're not talking about you got to be able to survive a kill shot straight to the head. We're talking about you're going to get the ball with enough time to catch the ball, turn your head upfield, make it to defend yourself, shake a defender, and then showcase the speed to pay dirt.
Yeah.
Ball placement was an issue. The previous tenant at the whether it be underthrown, whether it be overthrown in short yardages, or whether you be led into a defender. Jimmy doesn't do that, provided as long as he stays within his game, which is in between the numbers. And you're absolutely right, black and grayed out. Your best ability is availability, and that is Garoppolo's problem. In this offense, with offensive coordinator McDaniels, and I'll get to you in just as soon as I finish this point, said he was able to land $100 million contract with 2 games played.
So I will say this. You got to protect Jimmy. Because as people wanted to hype up that Niners O-line, I kept seeing time after time. And Jimmy, he's not holding on to the ball too damn long and shit. It's just interior wise, I started breakdowns. It wasn't like they were holding too long. It was just the stunts. It was like the Niners really up with a handful of them. That was it. And then, you like I said, taking hits after he got the ball off. He didn't complain, kept going. And then I also look at that damn stadium too. Because Jimmy done had all his injuries in that stadium.
Hot with bad grass. Terrible grass.
Haven't we out of that? Wasn't that always talked about that fields? Mm-hmm. That grass has been shitty there.
Mm-hmm. And it is hot.
So you go if I'm not mistaken, Jimmy done had all his injuries on that field.
Except for the one in New England.
Jimmy's in New England?
Nobody will tell you that officially, Kevin, but like Phil said, the vast majority of Jimmy's injuries have occurred at home, and I want to say, didn't Trey Lance break his leg on the Niners field too?
I can pull it up right now.
But that's been a field, that's been a surface that's not been a good one, Kevin. That it just hasn't. At this point they'd almost be better off just putting turf down like the Eagles do. Raiders need to see what they got. So let me tell you, if you're looking to see what Aiden O'Connell's got, be prepared for a long year. And the draft.
Who said that?
BF Boyd here to draft Caleb Williams or Drake Maine. I'm going to tell you right now, be prepared for a long year. You're not going to, in order to see either one of those two guys, you're not winning more than 3 games. I got to believe that this team could probably fall backwards drunk into 4 at least. I agree. And again, when you look at the numbers of what Jimmy's done, how he's been able to go about his business, and the reality of the situation is this: it's not gonna be Al Davis ball. It's gonna be Gruden in '98 ball. You're gonna see short. You're gonna see quick hitters. You're gonna see space clearing routes. You're gonna see a lot of Devontae coming across the middle with nobody there because everybody else is cleared out the space, and Michael Mayer is going to feast. He will have the opportunity to be around an 80 catch guy this year, as long as he catches the football.
Okay.
Raiders going to end up with Joe Milton or Michael Penix Jr. and not getting Caleb Williams. He's going to have to learn how to read a blitz, bro. To be honest with you, watching how Utah,
Joe Milton.
Yeah, he's going to need to learn his hot routes a lot better than what he did against them, because they didn't even bother to hide the blitz, and he still wasn't making the proper adjustments. This Raiders roster is not good enough to compete in the AFC West. How do you figure? You've got the best running back in the league, the best receiver in the league. You got a tight end who's going to get every opportunity to be fed and eat with all the other coverage. You've got a line that was top 10, was 10th in pass protection, on top of putting up the league's leading rusher. So as long as Jimmy comes in and executes the offense, you're not looking for hero ball. You're looking for him to make the plays. And if they can provide him the proper amount of time, 3 seconds or more, like they did last season, that will give him plenty of time and opportunity to cook. Now, offensively, now defensively, it's gonna be a work in progress. I'm not gonna lie to you. When everybody was healthy, they were giving up for the 5 weeks they had all their starters. I think they were giving up an average of about 23 and a half points. If you're scoring 24 to anywhere from 24 to 40, there you go. You just need the defense to do what they did in terms of 23, 24, and then you'll be good to go. Are they gonna come out and be the 2000 Ravens? No, they're not gonna be the 85 Bears. No, but they should be serviceable if they can get some production from their young players. But if they don't produce, then again, you're gonna be where you are, because the Broncos have gotten better by adding a real head coach. Sean Payton is going to get the most out of that team that they can. Absolutely. They got plenty of tight ends. And that's going to be another one of those ways that they keep Jimmy on the field and give Josh some extra help by adding that meat on the line of scrimmage. So now we could go into a bunch of things about Caleb and his deep ball accuracy. But I think some of that also has to do with the scheme that he was running and the way that it was you read it right to left no matter what the coverage is. So diagnosing the defenses, knowing how to audibilize your pass routes to what beats which coverage is where he's going to need to see marketable improvement this year. That's what's going to take him from being a Heisman winner to a champion. Communication. Communication. They are going, and without a doubt, they are going to have to get better at that. They are going to have to get better communicating and letting each other, and awareness. Now you got major headway. They made a lot of positive gains, but again, that remains to be seen. And so nobody will be able to answer that until we see what they do. They've had another year of continuity. They've got another year under Brasillo. Brasillo had them looking good. When Andre James, who everybody was trying to get rid of, came back, they looked great. Not great as strong, but they looked damn good in the run game. It was night and day. Tight end is rookie. You must have forgotten about Austin Hooper, the Pro Bowler, and O.J. Howard. So now, if your tight end is going to be the focal point of the tight ends, then I got to tell you, Howard and Hooper are going to be out there eating, because that means that they're getting your third and fourth best cover guy out there, whether that be your second or third linebacker. But that's pretty much who they're going to be looking at, because I believe the strong safety or a corner would be dedicated to Mayer. And if you run the mesh concept, you're isolating them on linebackers, and They will get open and they will get free. Big time. And he's got great tight ends at USC. But so regardless of all that, we're an hour in, and it wouldn't make sense to try to talk to you for 3 hours of football when there ain't 3 hours worth of football to talk about.
Yeah.
But again, it's July 5th, and rookies report on the 19th.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. We've waited, we've sat it out through this entire off season, through all the uncertainty. Now the only things that remain to be seen are watching a couple of feet. Is Jimmy's foot gonna be cool? Is Tyree's foot gonna be cool? Answers to that are positive answers, good answers, and they're out there quick. If they're out there for training camp, then we are in a good way and a good space. If Jimmy ain't ready to go by training camp, we got issues. And it's really as simple as that. Final thoughts, Jones.
Ain't got really much to say. I mean, it's gonna be quiet when we want to at least give you something, at least something that is worth up to date and nothing being retread. If there is anything that is going to be coming out soon, you know I'm the first to put it out there. Robinson's out there with you. But other than that, ain't got nothing else to say.
So thank you for tuning in. We're back. You're going to be starting to see a lot more of us moving forward, especially as the news begins to pile in. Because you know that I give this front office credit. They don't do a whole lot of talking. They definitely don't do a whole lot of talking. So it makes it a little harder to get the premier information to you. But he's Jones. I'm Robinson. This is the Unfiltered Truth, and we're out.